Well, good morning and welcome to our Advent thought for today from Tim Chester's book, The One True Story. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you enjoy a good film at Christmas time, and there's something about our favourite moments in film that we love to see perhaps again and again at Christmas time. There are no shortage of dramatic moments in the book of Exodus that we find in the Bible. Anything from the burning bush in the wilderness there to Moses holding his staff out and bringing those plagues from God to visit the people of Egypt. Even at the end of the book of Exodus, drama does not leave us. We're not let down by what happens. Those preparations for the building and construction of the tabernacle are comprehensive. They reach to the nth degree, you might say, in how that tabernacle was to be constructed. The tabernacle then was completed in Exodus 40. Let me read to you two verses from Exodus 40, right at the end of the book of Exodus. Verse 34 says this: "Then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle." No more dramatic moments than this. The very glory of God, the Creator, resting in a physical, geographical location right there in this tabernacle that had been constructed to his specific commands. The tabernacle then for a generation would be at the very heart of Hebrew society. As the children of Israel then camped, 3 tribes would be on either side of that tabernacle, so that the tabernacle was right at the very heart of the people. Again, of course, to symbolize God's presence among his people. Of course, the presence of God was one thing, but the approachability to God was a guarded thing. There was a heavy curtain that divided off the holiest of holies, that holy place where God resided. And that heavy curtain was embroidered with pictures of angels, thus symbolizing the angels that stood at the Garden of Eden after the fall to bar entrance to the presence of God. And then, of course, at the front of that curtain was the altar of incense, and great wafts of smoke would billow up from that altar, again conjuring up images for the people there of Mount Sinai, and how that even setting foot on that mount would bring certain death. But of course, as well as the inapproachability, if you like, if that's even a word, there was also some accessibility. There were symbols and pictures to demonstrate the welcome that God gave to the people. There was a table set there with bread. And God, of course, didn't need that bread. It was to show that God invites us to come and eat with him. He lived in a tent, just like the people living in a tent all around him. There is approachability here as well as inaccessibility. So in any film where you get quiet moments and loud, dramatic, explosive moments, so too in the history of God's redemptive plan. The descent of God's glory to the tabernacle was clearly one of those loud moments, one of those dramatic crescendo moments. The birth of Christ at that first Advent was one of those quieter moments, but no less dramatic. Over in John's Gospel and chapter 1 and verse 14, it says this: "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us." And that little phrase, "dwelt among us," simply and literally means he tabernacled with us. He dwelt among us in a tabernacle, as it were. Here in this child born to Mary is the fulfillment of everything that the tabernacle had spoken of. Here is the very presence of God, his desire to dwell among his people and to provide a way in to his presence and a welcome into the very presence of God. One day later, as Jesus was to die, that very curtain that's spoken of was torn from top to bottom, symbolizing, of course, the entrance that we have into the very presence of God. That's the entrance that we have each time that we pray, and that's the entrance that we will have one day when we finally enter and stand before our God. This Advent, remember the quiet moments and remember the drama of God coming down to dwell among his people. God bless you.